Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest financial news from trusted sources.
Finance and Economics, November 19, 1900 America, New York. Frequent flyer schemes provide airlines with a lifeline. Many carriers are using them as collateral. Finance and Economics, November 19, 1900 America, New York. As housing costs rocket, governments take aim at large investors. The approach is politically expedient, but it may not make housing cheaper. Finance and Economics, November 19, 1900 America, New York. The violence in Ethiopia imperils an impressive growth record. Of all the countries in Africa, it came closest to mimicking the Chinese model. Finance and Economics, November 19, 1900 America, New York. Germany grapples with weird ways to dodge its debt break. The constitutional ceiling on borrowing is inspiring all sorts of wheezes. Finance and Economics, November 19, 1900 America, New York. The case of the curiously quiescent inflation rate. As consumer prices rise across much of the world, inflation in Japan stays stubbornly low.
Forex Live, November 18, 1924 America, New York. Reuters poll shows the Federal Reserve is expected to raise rates by 25 bits per second in Q4 2022. Reuters' most recent poll of analysts on views on the U.S. economy and the Federal Open Market Committee. The moving forward of expectations of a hike is a catch-up somewhat with market pricing already.
Global Economy, November 18, 1915 America, New York. UK consumer confidence improves despite surging inflation. Rise eases economists' concerns about spending recovery before Black Friday and Christmas.
New York Times Business, November 18, 1911 America, New York. Judge tries to block New York Times's coverage of Project Veritas. The state court order, which the Times said it would immediately oppose, raised concerns from First Amendment advocates. James O'Keefe of Project Veritas speaking at the Conservative Political Action Conference in February.
Forex Live, November 18, 1901 America, New York. UK data. GfK consumer confidence for November -14, expected -18, prior -17. GfK consumer confidence index rose for the first time in 4 months, still net negative as you can see from the headline GfK's comments. Extra info via Reuters reporting.
Daily FX Market News. November 18, 1900 America, New York. USD, JPY aims higher after Japan's core CPI falls short of expectations. USD, JPY appears to be ready to finish out the week with gains as Japanese yen weakness continues following CPI data for October.
Forex Live, November 18, 1846 America, New York. Comments from China Beige Book. See Evergrande as contained. CBB International is a New York-based research group. The firm puts a private survey called the China Beige Book newswires carrying comments from its CEO. CBB are pretty on the ball re China. Forex Live, November 18, 1830 America, New York. Japan CPI for October. Headline 0.1% Y versus expected 0.5%. Inflation in Japan has been missing target, below it, by a long way, for many years. No transitory inflation here. Headline core measures. Energy prices in the month rose 11.3% Y, as you'd expect with surging oil.
New York Times Business, November 18, 1828 America, New York. SALT deduction that benefits the rich divides Democrats. House Democrats are poised to lift a cap on the state and local tax deduction, a gift to wealthy homeowners in some blue states. Homes in a well-to-do neighborhood of San Diego.
Forex Live, November 18, 1815 America, New York. China is examining ways to cut taxes and government fees by up to 500 billion yuan. China Daily with the report of what would be a stimulus measure.
BBC News Business, November 18, 1811 America, New York. U.S. chain CVS closing 900 drugstores to focus on health services. The chain will lose nearly a tenth of its outlets and focus on providing more healthcare services.
Daily FX Market News. November 18, 1800 America, New York. Nasdaq 100 leads markets higher as FAANG chipmakers outperform. Nasdaq 100 components outperformed on Thursday, as chipmakers and FAANG names carried equities higher.
Global Economy, November 18, 1756 America, New York. First FT. Biden considers diplomatic boycott of Beijing Winter Olympics. Plus, Turkey cuts interest rates in defiance of warnings and Alibaba warns of consumer spending slowdown.
Forex Live. November 18, 1756 America New York. U.S. CBO says Biden's spending bills will add $367 billion to the budget deficit over a decade. Congressional Budget Office says the bills are not fully paid for, will add to the deficit. U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen though says estimates make it clear the Build Back Better program is fully paid for.
New York Times Business. November 18, 1752 America New York. How Elizabeth Holmes soured the media on Silicon Valley. Testimony in the fraud trial of Ms. Holmes, the founder of the blood testing startup Theranos, shows how much coverage of the tech industry has changed over the years. The Library of Economics and Liberty. November 18, 1748 America New York. Who was Henry Hazlitt? Did you know of the Hazlitt-Samuelson connection? Earlier this week, Kimberly Fiorello, a state representative in the Connecticut legislature, had me spend an hour on Zoom with her and about 35 of her constituents to discuss Henry Hazlitt's economics in one lesson.
Forex Live. November 18, 1732 America New York. CBA raise their forecasts for AUD, USD, citing quicker progress on vaccinations. Commonwealth Bank of Australia analysts have inched up their Australian dollar projections slightly, citing global vaccination rates faster than expected, which in turn should prompt faster economic growth. Forex Live. November 18, 1731 America New York. In case you missed it, CEO of Ford says plans to, at least, double electric vehicle output by end 2023. Jim Farley is CEO of Ford, forecasting output of 600,000 EVs by the end of 2023.
New York Times Business. November 18, 1717 America New York. Overlooked no more. Ruth Polsky, who shaped New York's music scene. She booked concerts at influential nightclubs in the 1980s, bringing exposure to up-and-coming artists like the Smiths and New Order. Ruth Polsky in 1983. She had a knack for finding talent and debuted many new musicians.
Forex Live. November 18, 1715 America New York. Fed's Bostic says he expects mid-2022 normalization of policy. Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta President Raphael Bostic says he expects it'll be appropriate to normalize policy by next summer, i.e. Northern Hemisphere summer in 2022.